Hello, faithful warriors and precious standers. This is Jamie. Welcome to Road to Restoration. Thank you so much for listening in today. I wanted to encourage you just real quick. I wanted to pop on here and read you a devotion from today, May 12th, out of Streams in the Desert. And I usually read this in the mornings to my kids before they go off to school. And this one just really impacted me, and I thought I would share it with you because it talks a lot about faith, which is what we've been talking about, just how important it is to believe, to stay in that place of rest and belief and faith and resting, receiving. And this is right in alignment with that. So the verse that they're focusing on is Mark 9:23. All things are possible to him that believes. And then this is what the author of this book says. The all things do not always come simply for the asking, for the reason that God is ever seeking to teach us the way of faith. And in our training in the faith life, there must be room for the trial of faith, the discipline of faith, the patience of faith, the courage of faith. And often, many stages are passed before we really realize what is the end of faith, namely the victory of faith. Real moral fiber is developed through discipline of faith. You have made your request of God, but the answer does not come. What are you to do? Keep on believing God's word. Never be moved away from it by what you see or feel. And thus, as you stand steady, enlarged power and experience is being developed. The fact of looking at the apparent contradiction as to God's word and being unmoved from your position of faith make you stronger on every other line. Often God delays purposely, and the delay is just as much an answer to your prayer as in the fulfillment when it comes. In the lives of all the great Bible characters, God worked this. Abraham, Moses, Elijah were not great in the beginning, but were made great through the discipline of their faith, and only thus were they fitted for the position to which God had called them. For example, in the case of Joseph, whom the Lord was training for the throne of Egypt, we read in the Psalms, the word of the Lord tried him. It was not the prison life with its hard beds or poor food that tried him, but it was the word that God had spoken into his heart in the early years concerning elevation and honor, which were greater than his brothers were to receive. It was this word, it was this which was ever before him, when every step in his career made it seem more and more impossible of fulfillment, until he was there imprisoned and all in innocency, while others who were perhaps justly incarcerated were released, and he was left to languish alone. These were hours that tried his soul, but hours of spiritual growth and development that when his word came, the word of release, found him fitted for the delicate task of dealing with his wayward brothers with a love and a patience only surpassed by God himself. No amount of persecution tries like such experiences as these. When God has spoken of his purpose to do, and yet the days go on and he does not do it, that is truly hard. But it's a discipline of faith that will bring us into a knowledge of God which would otherwise be impossible. So, faithful warriors, stand firm in your faith. Trust the process. Know that it's through faith and patience that we inherit the promises. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.